Hey Booktube, this is Emma from Prairie Raven. I'm going to talk about my January-February reads for 2017. So, this year started out with a bang with Feminist Fight Club. And it's an office manual for survival in a sexist workplace. I got it as a Christmas present from my best friend, and it was totally awesome, and I highly recommend that to any young person entering into the workforce. It has some really great tips in there, as well as like that you can also apply in your everyday life, even like interacting on social media and stuff like that. Fantastic. Next, that was triggered by The Witches of New York by Amy Mackay. I got into this super witchy mood, and I wanted to drag out all my witch books, which I failed miserably at, but I did drag out The Shadow of Night and The Book of Life, which I reread. I've read them in the past. They're my guilty pleasure. I like reading those. Sometimes I think of them as Twilight for adults with art history. Not history, just history. Why did I say art history? I don't know. Next, I read The Little Book of Hygge by Meik? I don't know. I'm sorry. Wiking. I did something horrible to your name there, Mr. Author Guy, with the happiness place. Anyways, that cute little book, nonfiction, and it is about the Danish way to live well. And sorry, I had to not use my Zoom button for whatever reason. Anyways, good coffee table book, quick little read, and it's how they are the happiest people on earth, and the customs that they have that seem to add to their happiness, and part of that is what they call Hygge or however you pronounce it, and that's creating like spaces of warmth and cultivating this really deep, rich connections with the people in their lives. And I found that really, really beautiful, and it makes sense on how that would add to the happiness in their life. So anyways, if that would interest you, I'd highly recommend picking that one up. After that, I read Lumberjanes, Volume 3, I believe that is. And Lumberjanes is a great graphic novel series. It is a lot of fun to read. I absolutely adore it. I adore all the artwork and the varying artwork in there. I love the storyline. I love the characters and their distinctiveness and their personalities and everything that goes in between there. I highly recommend that to anybody if they're just looking for sheer awesomeness. That's what I would recommend. After that, I read The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg, and that one is a nonfiction read about the habits that we have and how we make them and break them, and how they impact our lives, and how it's these tiny little moments that actually transform our way of thinking and our way of life. So that was very interesting. After that, I got into Giant Days. I picked up volumes 1, 2, and I believe 3. Yep, 3. Volume 1, 2, and 3. Read all those in one sitting through the Hoopla app, which I love reading graphic novels in, because the colors and the lines are so crisp, and you can click on one thing and just... Anyways, I'm going on about Hoopla. This is about books. It's awesome. Check it out. And libraries are wicked. Anyways, university days, and since I didn't get to go to university, I had to go to college. I think that's what I would have missed out on, and I like reading it simply for that fact, and it makes me wish I was like so young and able to go to university. I envy all of you out there who have gone to university. Wow, you're so fortunate. Anyways, after that, I read I Hate Fairyland, which is not for children, and that was a recommendation that I got off of BookTube with Bookish Realm, and that one was a very fun story to read. It is hilarious, but definitely not for kids. The artwork and the color palette is very bright and bubblegummy, and like that. Oh, it's like cotton candy and sugar and, like chopping people up. It's fantastic. And then we have The Break by Katharina Vermette, a Canadian author who wrote this totally wicked book about a really horrific event, and how the community and the family dealt with that. and it was a CBC Reads nomination, and it got longlisted, shortlisted, then down to the final 4, and then it got eliminated. Katharina, I was like really wanted it to win, but it didn't. The book that did was awesome. After that, I read Paper Girls, a graphic novel written by Brian K. Vaughn. Amazing storyline, amazing artwork, amazing colorist, beautiful, awesome, mind-blowing as always because it's Brian K. Vaughn's work. He's done Saga and Why the Last Man, and if you haven't read those yet, I also recommend those series as well. After that, I read The Lonely Hearts Hotel by Heather O'Neill, which I've done a booktube about, so you all know how much of a fangirl I am of Heather's exquisite and beautiful writing and her dark stories. Love. Oh, they're so rich. Then I read Bukowski and a Sundress. I did another booktube video for that by Kim Adonizio. And again, that's one of those little companion books that you just keep with you to, you know, as a friend kind of thing, or looking for advice, or just a freaking laugh, because my goodness, that lady can write. Then I read Mythic, a graphic novel, the beginning of a graphic novel series where science is a lie, and it's magic that makes the world go round. So getting into that story is really cool, and it is a lot of fun, and I like so far I like it. After that, I read, again through Hoopla, same day actually that I read those two, is The Trees, Volume 1, In the Shadow. So it's about these like weird, like, I don't know if they're spaceships or whatever, but they just like, they call them the trees, and they landed on Earth, and then they just sat there for 10 years, and then all this weird shit starts happening. So it's a story on that, and what starts, and like little colonies of people kind of like have decided to live in there when they're also kind of like quarantine zones, you know? It's kind of weird. Anyways, after that I read Shame, which is a book with more beautiful artwork, and actually those 3 books, Mythic, Trees, and Shame, I do not recommend for children because of either graphic content, nudity, language, or just they're more for a mature audience, I guess, with a greater understanding of things. Well, not greater understanding of things, but they just deal with other aspects of life, I guess, is all I'll say about that. Anyways, and the beautiful artwork, beautiful colorists, storyline is just fantastic. And it's about a selfish want of, oh bloody, what was her name? Purity or something? Anyways, she gave birth to Shame, and then in turn Shame gave birth to her. So it's like this little story of what Shame brought into this world. Oh my god, is it good. Next was a DNF, Where Did You Sleep Last Night by Lynn Crosby. I did a little YouTube video on that. Just go check that out. Next I read, which was really cute and fun and adorable and makes me crave Starbucks like crazy, was Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. I've never read any of her work before. That was completely adorable and fun and lighthearted and very, you know, like sweet. It was a sweet little story, and it was a great in-between for everything that I had been reading lately, so it was like the perfect in-between book, and I love books that just fit into that niche perfectly, and that was one of them. That's just what I needed. After that, I read 15 Dogs by Andre Alexis, and that one did win. It won the CBC Reads. So congratulations to Andre Alexis, 15 Dogs, and of course Humble the Poet, who championed that book through the whole thing. And then that wraps up my January, February reads of 2017. Thanks, guys.